Okay, hello to everyone that has joined us for yet another client interview. You are with Noor here. I run the operations side of the business. And today I'm joined by yet another one of our amazing clients, another silent shark. I need to add again because he barely speaks about his wins until I found out yesterday at Safwan. And Safwan has done amazingly well with the program. And in this interview, we're going to do the business as usual and find out a bit more about his story. So, Safwan, appreciate you joining. Obviously, me and you have spoken inside the program and obviously just before this. But for the people watching this, why don't you introduce who you are, who you serve, and the transformation that you deliver?
Absolutely. So my name is Safwan. I own a marketing agency that helps wedding photographers and videographers with booking more weddings. And when I joined EasyGrow, I was making between 1 to 2K per month. And I was like stagnated, like I couldn't like break that barrier of acquiring like 1 or 2 or 3 clients at the time. And now that I joined EasyGrow for the last few months, I was able to hit my first 10K in this month right now.
Amazing stuff. And for context, I think, Safwan, as we spoke, you've been here for up to like 6 months, I'd say now.
Yep, that's correct.
Amazing stuff, man. So let's paint a picture in the people's mind here. What did the business look like prior to you joining in terms of, oh, not just revenue, but in terms of structure, your appointment setting, structure, sales process, essentially what led you to join the program to begin with?
Yeah, absolutely. So the main bottleneck I had was service delivery. I kind of had appointment booking in check. I was struggling a little bit with sales, but like when I joined EasyGrow, like it massively helped me with sales and service delivery, and also some like it did also help me with appointment booking. But most of the part, it was sales and service delivery where I got the most information and most help with.
Yeah, amazing stuff, man. And talking about like the sales side of things, prior to you joining, like what was the key issues you were facing when you were trying to do everything yourself?
Yeah, it was basically like the whole thing. Like I didn't know exactly what to do on a sales call. But in the coaching calls which were very valuable with Jack Roberts, he helped me massively with objection handling, with modifying my script, with modifying the questions I ask in the sales calls. Like these alone like helped massively with the conversion rates of the sales calls that I had. And of course, with the objection handling, which was a bottleneck that I had. Also, the sales module in EasyGrow helped me massively with objections. And in terms of like mindset and beliefs around objection handling, because I had a lot of faulty beliefs around objection handling. And these 2 videos in the sales module about objection handling helped me massively to conquer my fear and be able to handle any objections that arises in any sales call.
Yeah, amazing stuff, man. And when you mentioned fears, like prior to joining, in terms of like your sales process, did you have a sales process or was it quite like freestyle? And on the topic of fears, like if you can delve a bit deeper into that, because that's one of the things that a lot of clients like yourself, they initially have when it comes to sales calls. Full transparency, I'm scared of sales calls. That's why I'm not in sales. So it'd be good to hear more about, what your fears revolved around and how you sort of tackled that with the program.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fears that I had were like normal fears that every human has. So, for example, like fear of conflict, fear of what someone would think of you,
Mhm.
the agreeableness side of things, where
Yeah.
like when someone gives you an objection, you naturally agree with them. So when they tell
Yep.
you they want to think about it, you would be like, oh yeah, sure, he wants to think
Yep.
about
Yep.
it. Yeah, I like these are like these type of beliefs that I had, which were incorrect, that I believe that a lot of people, maybe all people had or currently have because of the way we were programmed when we were kids by our parents, by our teachers. And like these beliefs really helped me, like when I conquered them, they really helped me with being better at pitching and also objection handling.
Yeah, great stuff, man. Great stuff. And in terms of the appointment setting side of things, I think we spoke where you already had appointment setting on lock. It was just the sales side you needed to work on, right? So for appointment setting, what were you originally doing that you still do now?
Sure. So I did try multiple acquisition strategies, but what really worked with me was an email system. And I developed that email system by myself by like keep iterating and testing, and it was getting me appointments. And that was like the system that I was using, which is like emails with videos, similar to what you guys teach, but like a little bit different. It was getting me appointments. I did also use your systems, like the Terminator Room, and it also brought me appointments. So that was
Yeah.
really great.
Yeah, great stuff. And you know, I wanted to discuss acquisition genesis in particular, Safwan, because that's like you know how it is, it's like a mammoth of a module where it's like so many crazy hours in place where it's a lot of content for people to go through when they first get started. So on your end, what was your perception of acquisition genesis and how did it help you for the remainder of the program? Oh, I think I lost you there.
Oh, is that better?
Yep, got you back. 1 second.
Okay.
Sweet, apologies about that. Just lost internet connection for a moment. But Safwan, as we just briefly spoke about, uh, you developing your own system and whatnot, it kind of ties into what the next part I wanted to speak about, which was acquisition genesis. So as as I just mentioned before, you kind of froze on me was it's tons of like hours of foundational content, right? Which takes, I think it's like up to 20 hours to complete by this point. It's a lot. So I want to hear your perspective on that particular module and how it set you up for success, because I know we spoke and you mentioned that was one of the key things from the program, which really helped you get to that 10K mark. And the best part about this is it didn't really contain any sort of scripts, outreach strategies, or anything of that nature.
Yeah, absolutely. I always believe that the only thing different between an unsuccessful person and a very successful person is how they think and how their mind works. And when I watched Acquisition Genesis, and I've watched these modules like 5 times by now, and each like video is like 2 to 3.5 hours long. They really massively helped me with how I think and how I make decisions. And these were like more than 80% of what actually helped me to achieve my goal. It's not the script, it's not the shiny objects that everyone is looking at. It's how you think and how you perceive the world. And with acquisition genesis and self transcendence, which is the second module, these were the key points or the key modules that massively helped me with reaching my goal and being able to make the right decisions that made me reach my goal.
Yeah, amazing. And talk to me a bit more about that, man. When it came to like acquisition genesis specifically, because that's more to do with obviously being able to think for yourself from a business standpoint. What were some of the specific things that it helped you with approaching your business after going through it compared to how you were approaching your business before going through it?
Sure. So acquisition genesis talks a lot about systems. And really, everything that you have in your agency is going to be a system. So you have a system for booking appointments, you have a system for sales, you have a system for service delivery. And when you start thinking with the in a systems type of way, you
Hmm.
can start building it correctly. You can start iterating it correctly. You can start fixing it correctly. You're able to actually see what's going on instead of
Yeah.
just being like deluded of whatever you have and like it's hard to explain.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, but like once you install these paradigms that Charlie explains in Acquisition Genesis, it just clicks, and like you can literally see everything for what it is, not for what you think it is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. And it's funny you say that because prior to going through that module, um, a lot of business owners like yourself are sort of depending on emotions and what they think. And as a result, their business is not sort of progressing because it's dependent on emotion and what they think, as opposed to that systems approach, like you just explained there, Safwan, where it's centered around systems and it's centered around, and you'll know this better than anyone because of, all the modules and whatnot, stone cold data, right?
Yeah, that's correct. It's like anyone who relies on emotions when building a business will fail. I can tell you that.
Yep.
You always need to listen to data. Sometimes you need to listen to your gut if you have enough experience in that particular thing. But most of the time, you need to listen at data. And when I iterate my acquisition systems for booking appointments, when I iterate my sales system, when I iterate my service delivery systems, I always look at my data. And when it comes to making decisions, I either make decisions based on data or based on my gut if I have enough experience to rely on my gut.
Yeah, great
So yeah,
stuff.
like acquisition genesis teaches you how you can rely on data instead of emotions, which massively helps with making the right decisions.
Yeah. And one thing I wanted to touch on that, Safwan, is that it also teaches you how to think for yourself. And it ties in with what you just mentioned there, where sometimes beyond data, you need to rely on your gut. And that also relies on you being able to think for yourself and looking at your situation, your market, because it's different from everyone else's. So I'd love to hear your perspective on like an example on where you've had to not just rely on data, but really have had to think for yourself and rely on your gut, because I'm assuming you've done that a few times in your business. So it'd be good to hear an example.
Yeah, sure. So for example, like for service delivery, which I had a lot of problems with in the past. So I like once I rely on data, once I look at like the cost per click, the cost per lead, etc.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm like I need to make a decision for which ad to keep running and which ad to turn off for my clients. And most of the time, it just like based on experience and based on the knowledge that I accumulated from acquisition genesis, I can rely on my gut, and that most of the time it works, and it turns out to be the best decision. Where if I turn an ad off and an ad, I keep the other ad on based on my gut decision, it turns out to be actually like a good decision, and my clients keep getting results. So this is one example. Another example is with sales. So sometimes,
Oh, I think we've lost Safwan. 1 second. Give it a few seconds. Pause the video for a second. We're back again. Apologies if the video cut off, but just before we cut off, Safwan was basically explaining how he was using his gut to make decisions, not just solely reliant on data. And that's something we actually teach in acquisition genesis as well, where you'd want to be data driven, but in some instances, you also want to be able to think for yourself. So, Safwan, you already gave the example of making that decision in your ad accounts, and then you were going to get into an example of how you do it in your sales process. So it'd be good for you to actually continue elaborating on that.
so when it comes to sales, sometimes like I get a little emotional. I want to change the pitch. I want to change the questions that I have. But I always like stop myself and tell myself, wait, we need enough data. We need this amount of sales calls to make a decision. And once I have the enough data, if I still have the problem, I would ask you guys in the community or in the coaching call, the sales coaching call, and then I can rely on my gut. And most of the time, I make the right decision because I have the data, I have the knowledge, and I have, of course, the beliefs, the correct beliefs and paradigms.
Yeah, amazing stuff, man. And it's it's good because I think what tends to happen, you always want to rely on data, but I'm sure you've seen this, Safwan, when it comes to your own unique situation, whether it's your market, your niche, the clients that you're working with, sometimes you can't just there's situations where data won't give you the answer, and you gotta, like you said, just follow your gut and use data as support, but ultimately you're relying on your own sort of thinking to get you what's needed.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, amazing stuff, man. I'm curious, before you actually joined us, was there any sort of particular fear when it came to the buying process? Like, did you have to think about it? Was there any hesitations, or was it like a relatively simple process for you?
Sure. So it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Um, the main thing is trust, because there
Yeah.
are a lot of people that are saying that they can help marketing agency owners, but like most of them, they actually can't, and they're not. Um, but like when it came to you guys, um, like I watched a lot of Charlie Morgan's YouTube videos, and this gave me the trust, and it gave me the way of thinking that yes, you guys know what you're talking about, and you genuinely care about your customers. You don't care about making money, you care about getting results for your clients. And this is like the main thing that made me make the decision of going forward with you guys and use your program.
Yeah. Great stuff, man. And outside of our program, did you also take any other programs before joining us?
I haven't, no.
Okay, perfect. Amazing. And when you actually, joined the program, I know you spoke about how sales, self-transcendence, were actually helping. We're going to definitely get into that. Was there anything specific that you really loved about the program, whether it's the modules or whether it's the support coaching calls or whether it was like a collective of all the things? Was there anything that
Well,
stood out?
it was everything really. I mean, the modules are amazing. The coaching calls are really helpful, and the community is very helpful too. I mean, you post something, some people come and help you with that. Everyone is supportive. Everyone wants to help each other, and this is really great to have a community of successful entrepreneurs where you can chat with them, you can think with them, and this is one of the great things about the EasyGrow, that there's the community, there's the coaching calls, and of course there's the modules, which is really helpful.
Yeah, fantastic stuff, man. I want to touch on operations briefly. What did your business look like from an operational standpoint before joining the program in terms of the systems, maybe team members, and how many clients you had compared to what it looks like now? Obviously, you're at the 10K mark. Are you still operating on your own, or do you have like team members in place? Talk to me how things look now, Safwan, from like a systems and team standpoint.
Sure. This goes back to acquisition genesis. I found that I really love systems for some reason. And what I even loved more is making systems and making them really efficient. For example, like the onboarding process, I love keep like honing it and keep refining it and keep improving it. Same goes for service delivery, or booking appointments. So right now, I only have like two VAs helping me with lead sourcing and this type of stuff. But in terms of like anything else, I do it myself because I made these systems very efficient to the level that I can literally make the whole process and achieve that
Mm,
10K or even more without the need for anyone's help. And also I'm able to work like 2 3 hours a day
there
and
we
to
go.
achieve that goal because of like the continuous improving of the systems that I have.
Yeah, amazing stuff, man. And I want to touch on that as well. Like from your perspective, typically with most programs out there, naturally things may be, difficult to follow, difficult to set up. It's some programs it's just videos and they just leave you to it, and that can cause some problems as well because as you know, like every business is different, and that's why we provide the support we do. How easy did you find it on your end in terms of going through the program and executing the different strategies? From your perspective, was it quite difficult or was it quite easy to follow to get everything set up?
Yeah, absolutely. The videos and the modules were very easy to follow. And even if I got stuck into anything, there's always the coaching calls, there's always the community where I can ask anything I want, and helpful will be on the way immediately. So yeah, in terms of you guys as a program, like it was amazing to follow, and it was very actually easy to follow the steps and achieve the goal.
Yeah, fantastic stuff, man. I want to touch on the mindset side of things because I know like self-transcendence was a big one for you. And the simple question I want to start off with is how does version one of Safwan look compared to the version I'm speaking to right now? Like what identity shift did you have to make in order to succeed? So, the version before you joined the program, how did that one look compared to limiting beliefs, behaviors, habits, and all that stuff compared to the man I'm speaking to right now?
Yeah, this is my favorite topic. I mean, I mentioned a lot of systems, but psychology is my one thing. Massive difference. I don't know who version one is. Like, I don't like how, like, it's not me. Like, I can't see myself being that person anymore. Like, it's a completely different person with a completely different beliefs and way of thinking. That is like impossible for me to see myself thinking that way again. Um, Completely different. Self-transcendence massively helped me with becoming he who can, and developing the paradigms and the beliefs to be able to take the correct actions to be able to achieve the goal. So massive difference, and yeah, I like massive difference between version one and the version we're talking to right now.
Yeah, great stuff. With version one, what were some of the limiting beliefs that you had, like to do with sales, business in general? that you managed to sort of like change?
I had plenty. I mean, it's impossible for me to name them all. But if I can name a few,
Yeah, all the biggest ones.
biggest ones were, for example, like it's very hard to come by money. It's very hard to achieve the 10K mark, for example. Um, it's very hard to get results for your clients. Service delivery is very complicated. Booking appointments is very complicated. Sales is very hard. All these faulty beliefs that I had were stopping me from achieving my goal. And whenever I had a big problem into my business, I always remember what Charlie Morgan said, which is you never have a business problem. You always have a personal problem that reflects into your business. And like I always go to self-transcendence and watch the module again with the with the with the idea of I want to solve this issue in my head. And once I finish the self-transcendence, just it solves itself. And I have the correct paradigms, I have the correct beliefs, and I'll go apply them into my business and voila, problem solved.
Yeah. Amazing stuff, man. And in terms of like habits, did you like have any ha bad habits before in terms of like, I don't know, like your routine? Was it off place? Were you behaving like the 10K per month business owner back then? Like, were there any changes in that, or was it, still?
Yeah, massive changes. As I mentioned, not just beliefs, but like behaviors and routine, as you mentioned, these were very big when it comes to like achieving that goal, because you need to like your day to day would be massively different from someone who's, let's say, making 1 to 2K per month. What you work on is different. How you achieve those and how you work on these things are massively different, and the way you would make yourself do the work. I mean, in the beginning, you're going to be like it's going to be very difficult for you to face the pain and actually do the work. But when you're thinking, you're just used to it. It flows and you just do the work, whatever it is. And you don't have that resistance that you face every time you want to do something.
Yeah. Another good question I like to ask here, and I don't think I've asked it before, is with the version I'm speaking to right now, do you have any new limiting beliefs probably that you need to overcome to get beyond 10K now that you've hit 10K?
Of course, you're never done with
Yeah.
limiting beliefs. I mean, I wish there's like I can like get rid of
Yeah.
all of my limiting beliefs, but there's always these. And this is the way. Like you need to keep conquering these beliefs, and you need to keep improving yourself and becoming he who can consistently to be able to achieve those goals. And yeah, I still have limiting beliefs. For example, like hitting 100K per month is hard. It's very complicated. I
Yeah.
need to hire a lot of people. I don't know how to hire. I don't know how to manage people.
There you go.
Yeah, I still have a lot of faulty beliefs when it comes to achieving the next goals that I have. And yeah, I'll be working on these consistently and be able to hit that goal again and maybe having another call like this
Yeah,
one.
yeah. 100%. Part two, here we come, man. So yeah, that's amazing stuff. And Safwan, question for you. Obviously, a lot of people watching this, a common thing in their mind would be, how it is, especially with the younger generation. Oh, I don't need mindset. I just need the scripts and outreach, and I can succeed and whatnot. So I'll simply ask you this: would you have achieved the success you've achieved without that mindset module there and the identity shift that you had?
No, no way. No way. It's impossible. I
Yeah,
mean, no sales script, no email script, nothing of these will save you and make you achieve your goal. And anything you look at the internet and anyone tells you that, hey, you're one email copy away from achieving 10K or whatever that BS that they tell you on the internet, oh, it's just a lie. It's all a lie. And I've been through it. Like I've watched these videos. I used to watch all these people. I'm not going to name names, but like I watch a lot of people that fake being rich, rent cars, and sell low ticket courses. And I've been listening to them and never worked, and it will never work because this is not how you do business, and this is not how you succeed in business.
yep, that's exactly it. And it's funny with the with the whole like you're one email copy away, or here's the secret, or this and that. And sometimes it's like, hey guys, have you implemented the five secrets ago, the one that was posted like 5 years ago, but you approached it differently with a different mindset, you'd be surprised with what you can achieve. So it's funny because it's like, even from me, from a non-biased lens, right? Like I truly believe we have the best product in the market. But when we get clients that come in and say they had bad experiences with other programs and whatnot, sometimes it's not always the program. Sometimes it's the individual and their mindset and how they approached it, because they could wholly be dependent on, like you said, Saf, on a magic pill or magic script, sorry, to get them the desired result. But sometimes it's actually their faulty beliefs. When the script doesn't work, what happens to their routine? What happens to their emotions? Are they going to tweak things? Are they going to think for themselves? Are they going to be resilient? So it's a major, major key when it comes to the mindset side of things. And I can get this from you. You'd argue that it's even more important or just as important as the other modules that you've been through in the program.
Yeah, it's 80% of the way is like mindset. And this is the reason you guys have acquisition genesis and self-transcendence at the beginning of the course,
Yep.
because these are the big needle movers. And without these, you're not gonna succeed with the other modules that you have.
Yeah, exactly that. Because with Acquisition Genesis, it literally teaches you how to think for yourself and how to approach business without emotion. And then self-transcendence is literally how to achieve that identity shift. Because on your end, Safwan, you will probably, after you watch self-transcendence and Acquisition Genesis, you will probably already behaving like a 10K per month business owner anyway. So now the revenue numbers here, it's not a surprise. It's just a natural byproduct of the work you've done in the past few months.
Yeah, I mean, when I was at 1 to 2K per month, like I used to put like 10K at a pedestal and like, oh my God, achieving
Yep.
this goal is gonna change my life. But now that I hit it, I mean, like, meh, it's nothing.
Yeah, yeah, cause
It's
yeah,
like,
because it's like you've been working for it. It already felt like you hit it in a way with your behaviors. So now it's here. It's like, oh,
yeah,
like what is this?
yeah, I mean, just it doesn't feel like I imagine it to.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. So one of the things, Safwan, I want to ask you,
Yeah.
can you hear me? Give me one. Safwan, one of the things I wanted to ask you, and it's funny because it kind of relates to what you just said there, where you just said you hit 10K and you're like, oh, what? It doesn't feel like anything, which kind of shoots down my question here, but I'm still going to ask, how does it feel to be in a position where you're now making 10K per month with your business, and the business is at a point where you're able to acquire clients predictably, fulfill for those clients, and have a business in place that can scale beyond 10K and ultimately provide you, I guess with the life of your dreams now that you've laid the foundation. So compared to where you were before you joined the program, have you taken a moment to sort of pause and reflect on how far you've come?
Sure. So yeah, as I mentioned, like having like the revenue itself is yeah, yeah, it feels good, but not as I expected. But like the feeling of having a predictable systems that can give me appointments, that can convert those appointments into clients, and I have systems that can deliver results to my clients. It makes me feel confident and comfortable at the same time, but not in a bad way, in a way that I now are confident in myself that I can do what I set for myself to do, which is really important in my opinion. And it just feels amazing to overall to have built something from thin air, and your clients are getting a lot of benefits from it just
Yeah.
from using it. And this is like I genuinely like when I gather testimonials from my clients, like I tell them I feel more happy when you get results than you pay me.
Yes. Yes, that's it.
This,
That's
this
how we feel. That's exactly
yeah,
how we operate. And ironically, that's why we do so well in business, because like that's one of the principles we have is like client first, client worship. So it's like putting clients first and the rest will follow. It's like what you're doing now.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, amazing stuff, man. How has life changed? Is life still the same, or you just parking up the cash, stockpiling it, or you planning to like get some Lambos in or anything like that?
No, I'm not that type of guy who's materialistic and craves attention from other people and want to like show off. I mean, I still have my same iPhone, which is an iPhone 10. There's the blur, but
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
still have the same iPhone for the last 6, 7 years, and I can buy the newest one, but like I don't need to.
Yeah.
So the thing is, like now I'm planning on increasing my revenue and moving to Dubai, where I can network with other entrepreneurs.
There we go.
This is where I can scale even more. And yeah, I mean, there are very a lot of exciting things in my mind I want to do in the next 6 to 12 months. And yeah, it feels amazing.
Sweet, amazing stuff, man. Let's talk 12 months. Where do you want to take the business? We're at 10K per month now. Where do you want to be in 12 months from now?
Um, it should be 20 to 40 to 50 per month minimum. I'm also transitioning into info product where
Yep.
instead of me creating the ads for my clients, etc., you guys teach how to transition into a program. So I'm going to be using that knowledge to achieve that goal, and this is where I can really scale with a lot of high profit margins. Because with the current model, you can scale to the point, but then your profit margin is going to decrease dramatically, and I don't want this to happen.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what I'm planning to do in the next 12 months.
Good stuff. So for people watching, I'm gonna hold Safwan accountable to 50K because he gave me three numbers there, so I'm gonna go with the highest. So in 12
Sure.
months' time, keep an eye out for part two. I'm gonna chase Safwan down if he's not too busy. So yeah, amazing stuff, man. Safwan, as we wrap up the interview, usually there's two groups of people that watch these interviews. The first of which is current clients, and the second of which are people that are maybe on the fence. They've yet to book a call. Maybe they did book a call, but they want to think about it for whatever reason. Let's start off with the current clients and the current students that we have. As a client, yourself, that's been through the program for like around 6 months now, has achieved good success. What would you say is some of the key lessons that you can give them in terms of succeeding from your experience?
There's plenty. Um, but like what I can tell is that it always starts with you and your mind and the way how you think and how you perceive the world. And if you get this right, everything is going to fall into place. And acquisition genesis and self-transcendence is a must, even if you've watched it. I watched self-transcendence maybe 7 times by now.
Yep.
As well, like I'm not kidding. And acquisition genesis like 4 or 5 times by now. And I want to keep watching them every single month. I keep going back to them, sometimes every 2 months, but like I keep going back to them because every time I watch them, I just notice something that I haven't noticed in the past. So these two are very important, especially if you're at the beginning. You have to get back to them every single month, and the rest will fall into place. I mean, that's the only difference. I always ask my friends, like, if you and Jeff Bezos started from zero, but Jeff Bezos has the paradigms that he has, and
Yep.
you have the paradigm that you have, who is going to succeed faster?
Yeah.
They always tell me Jeff Bezos, even that they don't know why, but they tell me Jeff Bezos because he has the paradigms, he has the knowledge, he
Yep.
has the beliefs. So this is the most important thing, and this is what I always tell all of my friends that are starting out: just focus on this. Just focus on the beliefs, focus on your paradigm, and everything's gonna fall into place.
Yeah. And that's beautifully put because with stuff like scripts and whatnot, okay, cool, whatever, they can go out of market, maybe times change or whatever it is. But when you have the appropriate paradigms and belief systems in place, you're always adaptable. You know where to go from ground zero. You can come up with new scripts on the go. It's more so your approach on how to do things. And that's something that no one can take away from you.
Exactly, exactly.
Amazing. And to the people that have yet to join Safwan, like I said, they're probably just doing their due diligence by watching these client interviews. They probably had a call, but they just want to think about it. Maybe they had bad experience with other courses and whatnot. What would you say to those people that have yet to join? Almost like you're speaking to yourself when, you were looking at joining us.
Oh, just go for it. I mean, this is the best program on the market when it comes to marketing agencies. I can't speak for coaches and consultants because I'm not one. But if you're a marketing agency owner that does Facebook or Google ads or like just lead generation, appointment booking, etc., this is the one that you should join if you genuinely want to succeed in business. If you kind of want to succeed, you're not going to succeed even if, like, I don't know, Jeff Bezos came and told you
Yeah.
everything that you want to know. But if you genuinely want to succeed, this is the program that you want to do.
Yep, there we go. Absolutely love it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the client interview, guys. So I'm gonna mark this in my mind as part one, Safwan. So like I said, I'm gonna chase Safwan down for a part two if he'd be open to it in 12 months. But yeah,
Absolutely.
to those of you that are watching this, I hope you found this one valuable. And yeah, just to follow up on what Safwan just reiterated there, if you're an agency owner just like Safwan, this program is absolutely perfect for you. And same if you're a coach or consultant, because we've got a ton of interviews and a ton of testimonials with other, coaches and consultants that aren't agency owners. So feel free to check them out on the website as well. So yeah, I'm going to end it with my famous outro at this point, and that's simply, if you're someone that's watching this and you want a magic pill to success, which requires no hard work whatsoever, and you want to join a program and you've seen these ads with the fancy Ferraris and the fancy clothes and the Rolexes, and you think you can purchase something for $97 and bang, you have it all. This program is not for you, okay? This program, it requires hard work, and what we teach, it's simple to follow, but it's not easy in the sense that you need to achieve the identity shift. You need to be willing to put in the work, and you need to be willing to, not being afraid of failing forward, just like Safwan has done here, who's been with us for months. He's tested things, he's achieved an identity shift, he's gone through his own challenges within his own business, and he's achieved the success that he's achieved. So yeah, if you're willing to follow a proven framework and have the necessary support in place, then we're probably a good fit for you. Feel free to book a call and find out. If you are someone that wants instantaneous success and all the Ferrari stuff in with a magic pill, I can see Safa nodding his head as well because he agrees with me. All the clients do that I have on here. This program is not for you, and I don't want to sell you a dream. However, if you do find a program that gives you that dream, give me a shout because I want that. Okay, I'd happily take the instant success. All right. Jokes aside, feel free to book a call with us and see if it's a good fit for you. Keep an eye out for part two with Safwan here in 12 months' time, potentially sooner, depending on how fast this man scales, because we're just getting started. But other than that, hope you enjoy the rest of your day, evening, night, whenever you're watching this. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.